Hello everybody and welcome to Daytona as we build up to the iRacing Daytona 24 hours next week. Many will be using this as a little bit of practice tonight as round 4 of the OGRL Coffee Cup here in Season 5 gets underway. Another near hour-long race coming up for you tonight with the qualifying about to begin and the preparation continuing for the iRacing Daytona 24 hours. We've got over 50 guys in the field here tonight ready to go for what's going to be a very, very busy fourth round to this championship. Good afternoon to everybody, or good morning indeed to those of you over in America watching along. I'm Ian O'Leary alongside Jim Cunningham for this broadcast on the MotorMouth Broadcasting YouTube channel. Good to have you all along. And as I say, Jim, it's the time of year to be in Daytona. I've said that a lot in the last couple of weeks, but there's a lot of leagues currently running Daytona, whether that's ovals or road courses. It fits perfectly because next week it's the iRacing event. The week after, the real world event, which normally a few of the guys in here actually go to in the real world. It's the place to be before we head into our 2-week break.
Yeah, it is indeed. It's and good to be here. Good to have you with the coffee cup now on MotorMouth Broadcasting. This is actually your first week with us on this channel doing this one because of obviously contractual obligations you've had around the world, traveling all over the place. You lucky dog. It's Daytona time, and this is that time of year. You know, all the teams have been testing down in Florida, getting ready to start the seasons off, and it's actually quite a fun time of the year, and everybody looks forward to the 24 hours of Daytona. But as you said, you and I independently and together have done quite a few races from Daytona now. It's that time of year. But all good, though. We love Daytona.
Yeah, no, not a complaint, just an observation of the last few weeks. Yes, we're, I'd say, only in the fourth round of the OGRL Coffee Cup here this season, but we do have, a season developing in front of us at the moment, and I'd say 3 rounds in the past already. We started out at Spa in the middle of December, and Road America the week after, then VIR as we returned after the new year. We've had 2 weeks off coming up, and then we've got a run to the end, effectively racing every week until the 22nd of March. In that, we've got 2 longer races of 90 minutes. That's Le Mans on the 8th of February, and the Nürburgring combined layout, which is the Nordschleife and the Grand Prix circuit together. That's a 90-minute race to finish. I think we finished season 2 with that as well, if I remember, but that was quite a long time ago now. So yes, there's another 90-minute race coming up there as well. Of course, the Coffee Cup is not the only racing you can see in OGRL over the course of a week. We're racing pretty much every night, really. So come and join in if you're not free on a Sunday morning to race. Then you might be on a Monday, Tuesday, or Wednesday evening, or Thursday evening, indeed, depending on whether you like the look of one of these. The Rookie Like Road Course Series on the Mondays, ARCA Championship on Tuesdays, Hometown Short Tracks on Wednesdays, and the First Day Thunder Trucks on Thursdays. Those all starting somewhere around 8 to 9:30 Eastern Time. So some of those that start a little bit later might be a bit more available to you on the West Coast on the weekdays. But of course we start on the Coffee Cup very, very early in the day. The race starts about 9:30 in the morning Eastern Time. Practice starts a long time before that. I think practice starts actually about 7:30 or something like that.
It's pretty early. I know that when I actually raced in this league, which is how I initially got involved in broadcasting, was through this league actually. It was quite early for me. I very rarely ever made practice. I just barely got here in time to qualify.
Yeah, I get, especially when you're not on Eastern time, it's quite same for you. I mean, you're only an hour behind, to be fair, but think about the guys on the West Coast. It's very, very early in the morning. I think it's a 6:30 race start or something.
Yeah, and I think they get up at like 4 o'clock to have to do practice. I'd just stay up at that point, I think.
You're certainly getting into that territory anyway. Either way, those are your options in the week as well if you can't make it to race one of these Sunday mornings. Let's check out where we are racing here this afternoon at the Daytona International Speedway. Not the oval, of course, that we've seen so much around in the last few weeks, but the road course instead that has played host to the to the Rolex 24 at Daytona for some time, and it's an iconic venue with one notable change. Really, the chicane on the back straight is now a lot different, and those curves are a lot bigger. And I've not tried running over them, but they look like you don't want to run over them. Put it that way.
I will tell you this much: they, from what I've seen in some broadcast I did late, right after the new revised version came out like 2 seasons ago, I have literally seen some cars get launched like they're jumping off of a ramp going through there now. It's quite impressive, and the little tire barrier they have there will just kills a car if you clip it. It doesn't budge. It's not soft. It's like hitting a concrete wall. Tell you what, while we got a second, why don't we go ahead and take a look at where the point standings are. We're just kind of getting into the season, but they are definitely starting to shape up a little bit.
Yep, they certainly are. So, let's have a look at those. These are the pro standings, with Michael Dion, the winner in the last week, indeed, at VIR, leading by 10 points. Not won yet, nowhere close. Bradley Tidwell is in second place, ahead of then Cook, who runs at the top 3. Top 5 rounded out by Ryan Merriam and David Van Roy, with Jeremy Cheney just in behind further back. And then the rest of the top 10, Gearing, Fax, Morley and Tim Probert, who's in 10th place at the moment. Everybody in the top 14 has been at all of the rounds so far, which shows you how competitive it's been in the pro class so far. Same can't quite be said in Pro-Am, but it is close. 4 points at the moment between William Bailey and Jonathan Williams. Then you get a bit of a gap back to Heath Ollinger, with Adam Hansen and Perno Hanno rounding out the top 5. James Hillerick is 6th, ahead of Quentin Price. And Hillary, by the way, has missed a race, but it's had good results in between time. So watch him jumping up when the drop weeks are applied and whatever. It's Pastor, Klodin and Levalsky who round out the top 10 here. Again, a pretty well-populated Pro-Am field across the season so far. And the same goes in Am as well, although Curtis Matthews has very much been taking the points, not with a race victory just yet. Missed out quite narrowly on a couple of occasions, but has picked up enough points over the course to lead by 18 points currently. John Gardner is in second, ahead of Jim Sawyer and Matthew Williams, who rounds out the top 4. Brian Hoskins then rounds out the top 5. Julian Race is in 6th place, and rounding out the top 10 it's Snagable. I've not seen that name before. It's
Schnabel. I believe it's pronounced Schnabel.
Okay.
I may be wrong about that, but I think it's Schnabel.
I'm going to go with that. That sounds about right. Risley, Cook and Slane rounding out the top 10, rather. First 9 have been at all races so far, but again, most of the AMs have been at most races so far. And that is something worth noting, really, about this series and this season of this series so far. It's been excellently well attended, and tonight we've got 52 drivers, I think maybe even 54, who've been practicing at some stage, been in the server at some stage. We'll see how many times we actually get in here, but I reckon we're going to have more than 50 start this race, which is going to be absolutely wonderful to see.
Yeah, well, this series is, it's been extremely popular for a long time now, all 5 seasons, really. I know when I joined originally, there was waiting list to get in. You pretty much had to get on a waiting list to get a spot, and but yeah, this it's just a good league. It's a good time. These early mornings like this, you get a chance to come in and race before you get tied into family obligations for the day or whatnot, and it's just it's a good fit, and it's a good group of guys. So that just kind of keeps people coming back. Not a lot of BS in this league. It's just, all around just a really quality league.
Yeah, and it provides quality racing every week. And I say we'll be racing every week from the 1st of February, effectively, for the next 7. So watch out for that. Sebastian Fack is coming up towards the line at the moment in the Porsche. couple more international names actually outside of North America this season. In fact, is one of them, and he goes up towards the top of the standings. So a 45.6 is the best time on the board so far. Aaron Gearing moves up too into second place. But what can Brian Faluna do as Ryan Merriam pushes him down further as well in the number 1 car? Brian Faluna is on his final lap of the 3, and that's something I always really enjoy about the OGRL Coffee Cup. It's the sort of the limit on 3 laps, but plenty of time to do it. And because everybody knows that some of them wait around for the end of the session and effectively just to give us some excitement. Bradley Lovings is always pretty much the last driver to finish, and he's just about completing his outlap at the moment. So they always effectively make sure we've got something to watch all throughout, and we very much thank them for that, because sometimes qualifying sessions can be very boring, but not in this series. They do spread those times out over the course of the 15 minutes. Brian Faluna is going to have a chance, though, to end this session on top if he's able to go any quicker here. Is this going any really fast enough? I'm not sure that first part of the lap was, but second sector was certainly faster than Fack. Is the whole time quicker? It might be. He does go to the top. A 45.4. Not too many purple sectors in there, actually, but he does have enough for pole.
No, and Merriam right now is on. I believe Merriam's going to take the pole right here. It looks like he's got 3 green sectors. For those of you at home that don't know what those colors mean, a yellow means that it is not an improvement on a previous time that you've posted. Green means it's your personal best in a certain sector. And purple means that you have put up the best sector of the entire field. So as you can see, with him, 3 personal best and a session best.
On pole.
Oh, yeah, that's definitely going to pole there.
Yep. That's the last lap, by the way, for Merriam as well. A 45.3 is more than good enough for pole. So we're waiting for those further down the field, really, now to come across the line. Doesn't look like Hayden Young is going to qualify here. So might well start at the back, might well not start at all. But if we do get everybody... Go on.
I get excited by liveries, and that one popped on the screen. It actually made me go, ooh, I like that one. That's a good-looking car right there.
It's not bad. It's not bad.
Not your favorite.
No, it's certain. I like the shade of sort of greeny yellow. It's well, maybe I like a little bit more yellow, but it's a nice shade, and the contrast with the blue at the back. I do like it. For Brian Dudkowski, he's completing his last lap at the moment. Bradley Lovings completes his first in the Audi. One of the few.
So you missed
maybe the only one.
Last week, Lovings always runs some shade of this purple. That's kind of his thing, And last week he was out there in this orange car with green grass across the bottom. And I was like, what's going on? Do I have the right liveries in? I didn't know what was happening, because he's always run this like purplish kind of cars. And apparently he's been off track so much during the first couple of races of the season, he decided to make his car a lawnmower. So it was an orange lawnmower company on the car with the grass across the bottom, because he's been off track mowing the lawn across the first couple of weeks of the season, and he didn't disappoint. He took off through the grass last week for us as well, and then came in to point that out afterwards. So I thought that was quite funny. For those of you that know this league and know Bradley, he always comes in and qualifies right at the very tail end of qualifying, and so he's off to a good. A decent lap here. I don't think this one is going to be a pole lap, but it should jump him up. Where is he sitting right now? Oh, 36. Yeah, he'll definitely jump up here for sure.
Yeah, that out lap, of course, with cold tyres is not going to get him anywhere, but this next lap will get him somewhere around the top 20.
Yep, exactly.
Oh, well. I wish I'd made that as a prediction, because that would have been quite spectacular, but anyway, I didn't. Top 20 it is, indeed, 20th place, but one more lap to go, and you'd expect him to be able to improve. I mean, it's quite a big improvement to it. He's not going to. Well, that's going to be a midfield start for Bradley Lovings, and that's not ideal at all. Wonder what's gone on there, because now he's put it into first, and he's doing some sort of strange donuts here. Not entirely sure what he's doing, because I'm sure he had a lap left there.
He did, yeah, he did. He may have clipped it off track right off the bat. Yeah, you see the yellow. He did. He got an off track, so he just abandoned the lap. That's what happened. And
well, he's certainly off track now.
Now he's mowing the lawn again for us. He needs to go back to the other paint job.
Looks like
I do have to say,
SeaWorld or something.
No, that's rainbow trout, which is I don't know if it's a fish around the world. It's certainly a freshwater river fish here in America that's pretty famous for people like going fly fishing. If you're familiar with fly, Curtis is deciding to have a little fun himself with his off track. Yeah, it's a popular fish that you see in America as the qualifying session comes to an end here.
I'm not a fish expert, but I think.
Well, you're not a pop culture expert either, so there's that.
You'll start to realise there's not very many things I am expert in, actually.
Well, I did see that you were online playing a World War III game or something this morning.
Well, that's not particularly. It's a sort of strategy game, so I just sort of set it off, and you just don't touch it for a day. It's one of those. But yeah, that is of course fictional, which is not.
That's right.
Which is not, doesn't give you much real world knowledge, of course. Fiction, but there you go. Other than when there's these moments of popular culture that I can't quite grasp, which happens pretty much on a broadcastly basis.
That's right. Well, I'm here for you.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
that's what I do here. Let's. I tell you what. Let's take a look at the track map here at Daytona while we have a minute while they're doing this little warm-up session here. Let's pull up the track map for Daytona and take a look at it.
Yeah, so obviously they're coasted just off the beach, off the coast, down in Daytona, Florida, towards the north of the state, and obviously one of the most iconic venues in all of motorsport. Hosted the Daytona 500 since 1959 and the Rolex 24 at Daytona since 1962. It's been those events back to back for over 60 years now in the real world. Of course, we're gearing up for the iRacing Daytona 24 Hours as well. Let's show you some of the key points on this venue as well as they come through the start-finish line down towards turn one, coming off the banking, braking late, trying not to let the car slide out too much, and then maybe size yourself up for a second overtaking chance. If you don't get it at turn one, you'll get it at the International Horseshoe.
Sorry.
Instead. Oh, Jim's restarted it.
Yeah, I hit the wrong button. I apologize. Let me catch you up a little bit here. We'll get back to about where we were at. Sorry about that.
Doesn't matter. If you don't get it down towards turn one, you might get it down into the International Horseshoe. Very tight hairpin, although pretty much a mirror of the West Horseshoe. We're going to see a little bit later on. But as I say, there's a chance down at turn one. That's quite high speed though, and sometimes high risk. A slower speed chance and maybe a more reliable one. International Horseshoe as you get onto the infield for the very first time. Out of there you come out of what is traditionally Sector 1. Obviously in iRacing there's 5 sectors, but Sector 1 traditionally. Come through the dogleg, which is pretty much flat out even in GT3s, and then the West Horseshoe, which is similar to the International really, but more difficult to head round the outside through there because the corner goes on for quite a long time. Then you get out through turn 6 and onto the back straight where you traditionally have quite a decent chance of overtaking, but again, coming into the Le Mans chicane, especially now, it is a bit more difficult. We'll see it in a moment with a zoomed in shot. There's the Le Mans chicane. The actual parameters of the corner haven't changed, but those inside curves have, and that means you can't jump over them the way that you used to. In fact, I think times have slowed as a result of that, because you don't want to be touching those curves at all, even in GT3s, which shows you just how damaging they could be. And then you run around the banking all the way around you towards turn one. That's the big stop at the end of the lap. But there they are, all the 12 turns, a third of which come right at the very end there, as you can see, through the Le Mans chicane. And that makes up one of the more iconic venues in all of motorsport. As I say, hosting the Rolex 24 since 1962, and the iRacing 24 for its 12th edition in 1 week's time. So a lot of people are preparing indeed for that, but of course preparing for this race in its own right as well. But we were talking about it, touched on it briefly earlier. That Le Mans chicane is going to have a real effect here, I think. It's always been important to get your run out the bus stop chicane correct, because it effectively means you either have a chance or don't by the time you get down towards turn number one. and I think that's going to be even more of a factor now, because if you're in front and you just clip one of those curbs, then there could be a pretty much certain position lost. So have to be really careful through there.
Absolutely. Yeah, it's definitely slowed the times so far because of people not being able to clip the curbs. Another change they've made this year. Let's see if we can get somebody going into turn one. Let me pull the track map up, see if we can find somebody that's going into turn one here. No, not really. Anyway, so as you enter turn one, now they used to have what they called the e-sport line, which was a big wide line that you could take going into turn one, and it was, here we go. If he continues his lap, this should show us. So as you come down here into turn one, you see the white line on the outside out there. They used to go way out there to straighten turn one out. This year, iRacing has made that an off-track, and there will be penalties issued. And I don't know if that change has been made yet, but I believe it has. So that's going to also change how fast you get around this place. So with those two changes made, you're going to see slower lap times now than you would have seen in previous years because of that. So that's something to watch out for tonight, because if it's already in effect, people may not be aware of it, and that could in turn cause some some issues as we get ready. I tell you what, I'm going to go ahead, and normally I wouldn't start the grid until but I think with this many cars, I'm going to go take a deep breath and get ready. Here you go.
Yeah, here we go. And I think all 54 are starting, by the way. So here we go. Ryan Merriam takes the pole position there on the right-hand side in that number one Aston Martin. He's got Brian Faluna in the traditional Rexy livery alongside. Sebastian Fack is in third place in front of Aaron Gearing in the first of the Mercedes in fourth position. It's an all BMW row 3 with Sean Riley and Javier Sierra fifth and sixth. Tim Probert, 10th in the point standings, is 7th place in this race, ahead of Damien Horvatin, who's chosen the Mustang for this season. Preston Hathaway is in 9th, ahead of Stephen Smalley. That's not a selfie, I don't think. He's in 10th place. Brent Cook is 11th in front of Jonathan Williams, who is 2nd in Pro-Am, by the way. Preston Hathaway is the pole sitter in Pro-Am. Stefan Bauer and Heath Ollinger will share row 7. Ollinger, an AM champion of seasons gone past. I'm not sure this is going to get all the way through, is it? James Hillerick, 15th in front of David Ben Roy, who is in 16th position. And then you've got the AM pole sitter. Yelis Sones is in 17th in front of Cody Bont on an all Porsche row 9. Row 10 is Ken Clodin and Bradley Lovings, who qualified towards the end of the session as always, but didn't get his final lap in, and so he's got a lot of work to do. Raul Pastor is alongside Bradley Tidwell, who starts from 22nd, a little bit further down than he's used to qualifying in 22nd. Justin Dos Vase is in 23rd place. There he is with his animal, with his dog. Then it's alongside him Quentin Price. Alan Purser and Mitchell Williams are on row 13. I'll complete the top 30 at least. Alexander Claudio and Brian Dukowski are on row 14. And rounding out the top 30, it's Curtis Matthews and Perno Hanno. Behind that, there's still another 20 odd starters, although I must say I'm not sure whether my time screen hasn't refreshed at the moment, so I'm not entirely sure how many have actually got onto the grid here, but the rest of them may well tick through. Anyway, the pace car is pulling into pit lane and we're pretty much ready to go. Ryan Merriam in control of the field here at Daytona. Oh, and we're underway. Some trying to just jump that as they were coming towards the start finish line. It's round 4. The OGRL Coffee Cup at Daytona are underway as Merriam leads them in towards turn 1. What a dive that is down the inside, and we've got a yellow flag out there already. We've got a yellow flag. I'm not entirely sure again what that's for at the moment, but at the start of this 55-minute race, an unusual for OGRL Coffee Cup safety car to start this race.
Well, it's so unusual, I didn't even know we had them, if I'm being completely honest with you. Let's see if we can figure out what brought that on. That seems to be a theme these days. I think we had a, let's see.
I've only seen it once in my time doing OGRL, and that was at Watkins Glen in season 2. Oh dear. Well, this was one of the incidents that happened further down towards the back end of the bus stop there. Really clumsy, really, to have that on a pace lap, and maybe that's why, because that effectively slows down the field here. They're not organised, they're not in line, they're not where they should be. Oh goodness, they're a long way behind the rest of the field. I mean, where is the rest? Oh, there's the rest of the field. They are not formed up properly at all, and that's why I think race control have decided to effectively just start again.
Yeah, smart caution, to be honest. I think there was a couple more cars involved there. I know Kenneth Culloden got clipped by the Porsche there and went around, and then I don't know if anybody else actually suffered damage there. They just had to slow tremendously. So, yeah, that's probably a very wise caution, because that was going to throw this race off to a bit of an unfair start. So I'll tell you what we'll do. While we're letting everybody form back up here, we'll jump back on board with the pace car here and let it pick the field up. And I'll tell you what I'm doing. I'm going to pull up the old-fashioned grid, and it's not going to let me because we're already past that point. I was going to pull up the old-fashioned grid and go through the remainder of the starting lineup, but I'm going to have to talk to these guys if we're going to use the so the pace car. Did he just jump in?
This is a few moments ago on replay. Ryan Merriam is a long way in front of the rest of the field for some reason. Sebastian Fack here is in second place, and very nearly, by the way, got to first place. Probably worth talking about from the start. If that had carried on any longer, who knows what would have happened here for Merriam, who's absolutely... does he know? I mean, he does, obviously. That he must know. But I don't know where the pace car is at the moment. This is going to take quite some time to figure out, I think.
Yeah, it might take a minute to sort this one out. Let's see if I can... I cannot get a regular camera straight to the pace car. I can only...
Is this looking? This is looking back from it, though.
Yeah.
So this looks like 3 and 4. NASCAR turns 3 and 4, and that looked like one of the back markers working their way past. And the reason why Merriam's going at full speed is because they've still not caught the pace car yet, and that's what happens when you pro the safety car as soon as the race starts. I mean, in an ideal world, I guess they would have thrown just added an extra lap to the pace car. And that pace lap, if you like, made it 2 or 1 and a bit, because you had the short parade lap. But we're not able to do that, so the safety car came out straight away. That does cause 1 or 2 issues, but Merriam is at least showing the way for everybody to come back to the pace car again, and yes, hopefully the field will join him very, very soon. There's the pace car. So hopefully the rest of the field, which is all pretty well clumped together, will join him very soon, and it won't take too long to get the race restarted.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, that was a good caution. Ironically, you and I have literally seen that exact same thing happen in 2 races that we've called in the past 3 days. We saw the same thing Friday night on a race that we called where we were at Laguna Seca, and some cars got in trouble going through the famous corkscrew there right at the on the warm-up lap as well, and did the same exact thing. That's kind of funny, considering I could probably count on one hand the amount of caution flags I've seen in GT3 road racing. Certainly not very many.
No, I before this week I hadn't really seen this happen before, and as you say, it's happened twice in 3 days, which is unusual. Twice in 36 hours, pretty much. But anyway, Merriam caught up by the pace car, and pretty much everybody else is caught up here as well. So there's a half chance we'll get going this lap, but more likely that we'll get going next time around. As I say, we'll try and keep the overall of the tower up on the left-hand side, but I will just tell you who the class leaders are at the moment. Yep. Obviously, Merriam is leading the race for the pros. In Pro-Am, we've still got Preston Halfway, who has held the lead there, 9th place overall, and has quite a gap. That's why some of the gaps you can see there has quite a gap with other pros in between. Mitchell Williams is up to first in AM. Yelis Soins did not have a good start in AM. Not entirely sure why, or whether he was maybe involved in some of that stuff before the actual race got underway. But the AM lead has changed. Even in that very small time, we were actually green flag racing.
Yeah, I believe that's probably what happened there, because it started around wherever Kenneth Culloden is, which now he is in 50th place now. So it was definitely towards the back of the field where all this happened. Pace lights are still, the yellow lights are still on the pace car, so we should have one more. I'll tell you what, let's take this moment to, while we got a minute here, to mention one or two of our channel sponsors that have picked up with us this year, and of course we'll talk about the league sponsors as well tonight during the race. But we do have a new channel sponsor called the Roasted Record. They are, ironically enough, a coffee shop, and also they sell their coffees on the internet. They do small batch artisan roasted coffees from different beans from around the world. They have numerous blends that they do, and they have a physical location in Stuart, Florida, which is not very far at all from Daytona here, just outside of Orlando area. And so right in the heart of all of this, Daytona, Sebring, Miami Homestead, that's all located right in that general part of Florida down there. And they ship their coffees anywhere internationally or across the United States, of course. If you click the link down in the description below, maybe to go check out what they do, if you decide to purchase anything, use the code SIM20, and it'll get you 20% off your order. But if nothing else, just click the link and go check out what they're all about down there, because they let them know that their advertising's working and people are coming over from our link to check it out. They don't pay us anything if you buy anything or anything like that. They just sponsor the channel, and actually Mike Mann, the owner, he's a racer himself. He races Porsche Club Racing, and he's a good guy. And also, I'd like to take a minute. And by the way, the reason it's called the Roasted Record is because if you go to their physical location, they sell old school vinyl albums and stuff in there as well. And you can go in and listen to a vinyl album on headset while you're having your coffee and whatnot. But anyway, we're about to. Looks like we're about to maybe go back to green here. Now they've got everything sorted out. We'll try this again and see if. What's funny is that the field is so big that they took the green flag and people were still wrecking in the corkscrew. In the Le Mans chicane, that's how big this field is.
Yeah, it's. Oh dear, what is happening here? They're forming up again. Are they trying another two wide? No, they're not. I don't think.
Shouldn't be. No, it should be single file, right?
Well, you'd think, but the top guys look like they're
I hope they do form up, just because it makes it fairer for the guys who potentially, because if you're 50 cars back in a straight line, that's a long way.
Well, yes, it is. But, it's quite a long way back even if they're side by side, actually. But anyway, 52 still left in the race. Chris Slane is out of the race, unfortunately. And Rani Koya didn't start, but 52 is plenty. And hopefully they'll get through the Le Mans chicane on this pace lap, first of all. And then if there is any trouble, they can catch up just in time for the actual start of this race, which effectively is reduced to 45 minutes with a slightly jumbled up grid on where they qualified, but really not too dissimilar. Sebastian Fack on the outside line for this time round was really punchy on the initial start. Very nearly got down the inside and through on Ryan Merriam to begin this race. But we'll see whether he can do the same from the outside this time round. I think that's going to be a little bit more difficult. But let's find out as the pace car comes towards the end of pit lane now, or the start of pit lane rather, the end of the front straight. And the field will be in the control of Ryan Merriam, as we see our first safety car of the season, hopefully the last in Season 5 of the OGRL Coffee Cup. And Merriam comes into the restart zone and gets us back underway. Just about 11 minutes complete here from Daytona. We're back underway in the Coffee Cup, and Faluna is on the inside trying to retake that second place. He breaks early though, right in front of Sean Riley, and Fack is going to keep that place, I think. No, Faluna will get it on the inside, and actually Sean Riley's going to try and follow through here in that BMW on the inside line. Aaron Gearing trying to win that 4th place back, and does on the inside of the International Horseshoe. Little bit of door-to-door between those two. A much cleaner start all across the board, though, I think, all throughout the field, in fact.
Yeah, they definitely got off, like I said, a much better start this time. We'll see how they scroll through here. Coming out of turn 1 here. Seems to be a lot cleaner. Which normally the driving standards in this league are phenomenal, so you don't expect it to go bad or anything.
Yeah, you do expect the good start. So we've had a good one here. Although Sebastian Fack seems to be off through this course. Oh, he spun to the inside. We'll see whether there was any contact involved there or whether he did that on his own, because it's entirely possible, as he was trying to get on the throttle there out of turn 6, that he might have just done it on his own. But look at how much it cost you. He's all the way down into 24th place.
Yeah, it doesn't take much to get way back in a field this size.
No, absolutely. And he's going to have to work. He's not even. He's still at the top half of the field, which is just shows you how large it is. But there's going to be a lot happening down towards turn 1 here. And unfortunately, it looks like since the start of this lap, Stephen Smalley has lost quite a few places. 11th on his window at the start of this lap, but all the way down in 15th, 16th now. As they come over the line after the first green flag lap of racing here tonight at Daytona. Or this morning, this afternoon, depending on where you're watching us here today. It's all happening further to... Oh, my goodness, Loving's involved in this. Inside line, all happening here. It's hard to know where to look at the moment, but again, clean all the way through, which is very good to see.
Yes, indeed. It seems that the majority of the battles are kind of happening back here in the back half of the top 20 or 25 or so. There's a lot of action going on back here. The front 15 or so kind of settled out and kind of gotten single file now and are putting down some quick laps, which is only going to spread this field out more and more.
And Micah Dixon has gone so far off the circuit, has actually skipped some of it, so not sure what's happening there, but that's why you're seeing that Mustang drop through the field again and again. This is a bit further down in the field where 3 Mustangs fighting here. Alan Purser's one of them, though. He's a pro driver all the way down in 35th place. Yeah, he's cut the, and now he's not going to drop any further. He's finally cleared the slowdown, but I think he missed the whole infield there, or at least a lot of it, as he went off the circuit somewhere through the opening corners of the lap. Here comes Lovings, absolutely back to where he started. It's Bradley Lovings. He's just behind Tidwell, so these two will be having a bit of fun at the moment, but it's not been the ideal start for Lovings. He needs to sort of progress a little bit from here.
Oh, that's not going to help him at all.
No, he's not going to like that. Oh, no. He's hit that curb. The only Audi in the field is dropping down even further now.
Did he catch the curb in there? Is that what happened?
I think it must have been. I think so.
Let's see if we can catch that. Oh, that's not him. Where is he? Well, it doesn't show.
Just up in front there.
Yeah, it doesn't show that he had an incident, but obviously he did. We'll try to come back and catch that in a second.
Down to 35th as a result of that. As meantime, there goes. In fact, look at that, already back into the top 20 and past Brad Tidwell as well. So up to 19th place. So a good recovery from the driver of that Porsche after the spin. Coming onto the banking out of the infield, and yeah, it's I'm afraid not a race he would have wanted, because he was challenging for the lead at one stage earlier. Now he's all the way down in 19th, but the best he can do now is recover.
Yeah, it's going to be a bit of a long haul for him. I'm going to try to go back here and see if I can catch where Bradley spun. Being that there's no mark on it, it's going to be interesting to try to catch it here.
I think, well, let's see. He must have clipped the curb though.
Oh yeah, that last curb coming out of there. Yeah, he definitely caught the curb. I'm telling you, these curbs are brutal here. They have become really, truly nasty. Yeah, Fact is flying up the field.
Yeah, Hollander's got to slow down through that bus stop as well, so he's definitely going to get through there. But it sort of changes the profile of the corners entirely, because the final corner of the bus stop really didn't used to be a feature at all.
No.
You obviously needed to avoid a slowdown, but you could get pretty much onto the grass there, not with all four wheels obviously, but a little bit further onto the grass on the left hand side there, coming onto the back straight banking, and onto the banking, bringing you to the front straight rather. And you can't do that anymore. The curbs mean that you really have to do that final part of the turn properly, which I suppose it should have always been the case, I suppose, but it's just completely changed the profile of that corner.
Yeah, it definitely has. And I tell you what, it is. Those curbs were meant to, like you said, make you take the turn properly.
And they are doing their job at the moment, as we've already seen. On board with David Vemroy, just in behind Hayden Young here, who didn't qualify, I don't think. No, he didn't. He's up 38 places already in 17 minutes. But of course, we've only been racing really for about 7 or 8 of those.
Yes.
And that is a remarkable result. Here comes Halfway, the Pro-Am leader, getting into 6th. This is a big result for Preston Halfway. If this can maintain... Oh, trouble though, through the bus stop. And that's the part I don't like about it. You can just run over the tarmac there and get away with some things that you wouldn't previously. But Hathaway is going to have to serve a slowdown here. And Sierra doesn't quite know where to go because he's stuck on the outside. Demian Hoverton's going to get a double toe. And now finally Halfway is lifting off because he realises he can't serve his slowdown by running up high as normal. Hoverton, he will argue he's pushed below the double yellow line there. But Sierra might argue the toss about that as they come across the top finish line. Sierra now almost forced to give him a little bit of room on the inside of the triangle, and Hoverton takes 2 places in 1. Hathaway still hasn't served his slowdown. Now he has. He was looking at 6th there, was Hathaway. He's now down to 8th, and Demi Hoverton gets to 6th.
Yeah, that was a nice move there. He just picked him off a couple. Of course, with this size field, you need to do that a little bit to make some ground up here. Tell you, this is a good little battle right here. We've got about 7 or 8 cars in a freight train here.
Yeah, this is sort of the biggest group in the top 15, 20 or so, maybe 25 in fact, and it's all stemming from the battle that we were just seeing there. Hoverton at the front of it now. Also joining in the 9th position at the moment is Brent Cook, then James Hillerick. Stephen Bauer have also caught up here all the way down to 11th. So yeah, this is a large group, and it contains the Pro-Am leader but not Pro-Am second, so interesting to see what Halfway does here and how hard he fights those around him. He wants to gain some points over the rest because points are dished out on an overall basis, but you also don't want to give up your Pro-Am lead, of course.
There's Lovings up to 31st place, so he's made a few of his spots back up. What's funny is I have seen people actually pick up damage from hitting those curbs really hard. That's how bad they are, that they can actually cause damage on your car now.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, especially in those prototypes that are going to be here next week.
Yes.
I'm not surprised at all.
Yeah, they're so... Oh, he's going to do it again!
Whoa! He might have found the outside wall there. He's certainly lost momentum, and he's going to lose those places he's just gained, so he'll be right down to 33rd again. This has not been his day so far at all.
That curb is the same exact curb twice.
Yeah. I say it's just a completely new corner now. It really is. This is the Am Pulsator, by the way, Yellow Suns, who I think was involved in that pre-race kerfuffle at the Le Mans chicane, actually. Either way, here he is trying to get past Williams for 27th place in the field. Mitchell Williams, sorry, I think I said Matthew Williams earlier, didn't I? That's a different sim racer. I know too many. Mitchell Williams, indeed. Who goes backwards and indeed back to 28. Sons has got a big job though to recover the AM lead. To be fair, Michael Champs is only 25th, so Sons is back to 3rd at least in the class. But even so, it's a big recovery job for the Pulsator here today.
Let's jump up here with the leaders. They had kind of separated out and just kind of were doing their thing, but Ryan Merriam is Faluna is all over Ryan Merriam here.
And had a half chance there into the chicane, but didn't decide to go for it. He's going to go for it at turn 1 instead. If he is at all, is he just going to fuel save through this first part of the race and take a shorter pit stop, which will benefit him later?
That would not be the worst idea in the world. You know, tuck in behind here, be able to coast it a little bit, you know, and maybe potentially save yourself a lap or so of fuel in the long run.
Yeah, he's doing it. So he gets very close, but lifts off. And Aaron Gearing needs to get in with these guys as well, because if he can do the same, then he can throw his hat into the ring as far as the race win is concerned here. And, you know, teetering on the edge of a proper draft there in sort of 8/10 of a second behind. These guys are not thinking about saving fuel. This is where the entertainment is. These are where the overtakes are, unlike at the front of the field.
Yeah, which those guys have. I mean, that's smart, though. You know, if you're Faluna, just tuck in, save a little fuel, and you know, extend your lead out on the field and you know, reduce the amount of people that you're battling with overall. That's just generally a good strategy this early in these races anyway. Although saying early, we're not terribly far from halfway, you know. No.
We are seconds away, in fact. There we go. We'll come up at 22 minutes 30 into this race. Of course, we say hour-long races, but I shouldn't really. It's not quite true.
22:30 wouldn't that be 50 minutes? No, 25. So we're not. It's a little more than that. We still got like another 5 minutes.
Oh yeah, sorry. Yeah, I am completely wrong about it. I'm looking for 27:50, aren't I? Not 22:50.
That's probably because you were up till 3 o'clock in the morning broadcasting a race last night.
Well, I know, but I got 8 hours of sleep. I can't really complain it's early.
That's true. It's early for me, but that's another story.
Yes. Yeah, that's true. But anyway, it's the coffee cup. You've got to get up in time for it on a Sunday morning, as all these drivers have as well. Many of which are over in North America, or the Americas, I should say.
Yes.
And that is. That means it's latest 10 a.m. So pretty early on a Sunday morning. But as you say, before you really have to do everything else on a Sunday, which is the advantage of this league. Faluna, though, is going to try and get through on Ryan Merriam in towards the International Horseshoe. He was very briefly in front there. He was diving down the outside of the International Horseshoe. He can't get through, though. And maybe his fear is coming from that Mercedes in the background. Aaron Gearing has now made it 3 for the lead here at Daytona.
He is definitely in the mix now, isn't he?
Absolutely. But again, what does he decide to do? Does he infiltrate the group, or does he just hang around at the back saving fuel with it?
Well, we'll see. But clearly they have started to battle up here, because Faluna, like you said, briefly got his nose in front of Miriam. So, you know, I just realized Michael Dion is not here, is he?
No.
Oh, that's right. I think he said he wasn't going to be here. You know, he's back again, though. You know, he's been kind of absent for a while now. You know, and man, I tell you what, he was so fast last week, and he said last week that this. Oh God, look at those cars jump that curb, man! It is so brutal through there. Watch this. If they catch that last curb there, it is nasty.
Yeah.
Well, you know, it really seems like some of these cars are getting a much better run through there than others. Some of them are literally jumping off. Oh, no.
Yeah, Gearing could take the lead here if he wants it, but he doesn't. He's going to lift off. He had the run there on Faluna, who's going to go to the outside. I think that's partly to defend from Gearing, actually. But Gearing had a chance to go through to the lead there and obviously didn't take it. He's hanging right back now. Faluna goes a bit wide through turn 1. Does he now take the chance? They've got to be careful not to stare each other out of this completely, because Ryan Merriam can gain time while they're side by side like this. And so Gearing's got to tuck back in behind. Oh, careful through the middle of the corner there. Faluna wasn't quite as quick because he'd had that narrow entry, and Gearing just stays in behind. So it grows to 2/3 of a second, but they've got to be careful they don't let Merriam out in front too far.
So I don't really want to pull away from this battle, but I'm going to go show a replay real quick here. I believe
he's done it again, has he?
Yeah, he has.
Second time that's happened now.
And also, real quick while we're here, believe Curtis had it. Oh, that's
Whoa.
not going to be good. Oh, he slid out of the way at least. That wasn't really curbing there. That was just carrying too much speed in there. So that wasn't the curbs that caused that one on him. All right, back up here to the front. So, same situation here. But, I mean, Merriam is slightly pulling ahead now because those two are battling.
But, but if Gearin gets into the back of Faluna here and just sort of bump drafts him down the way, towards Merriam, then they can fix this gap straight away. But does Gearing decide to do that here? He's not going to push through the banking because we know that from over racing. But now he's going to get right in behind him. Look at this. There's just no chance for Merriam to stay in front when you've got a pairing behind you like that, and they pretty much halve the disadvantage they have all the way down towards turn 1.
Yeah, you'll see now going into turn 1, nobody's crossing that white line. Uh-oh.
It's much better, isn't it?
Horvathan just pulled into the pits already. Well, that's maybe not, especially if he was in traffic. That's not the worst move in the world,
Well, yes, but I think with still 47 on the lead lap, he's just going to end up in more traffic, to be honest. But we'll see where he comes out. His pit stop. Oh, sorry, he's just coming in now. It's just coming to a stop now. Thought he was just on his way back out again. We'll see what his pit time is. If it's a very long stop, then we'll know what the score is there, as far as difficulties are concerned. But somewhere around 15 odd seconds used to be this is going over 20 seconds. This is not a scheduled stop, I don't think, for Horvathan.
Is it? Oh no, no, it's 23. I mean, that's not.
It's a bit long, isn't it?
No, not really. I think that's probably a full fuel stop, and he might have taken tires.
Tyres are taken at the same time, so as fuel, so you can do tyres.
Only 2, though. If you take 4, it's going to extend your stop just a wee bit.
Well, not if his fuel stop's 23. So that's why I think that's a long fuel, really, because normally here you'd be able to go just short of an hour. Obviously, we've got a fuel cap here, but it doesn't change the filling time. It's effectively what you'd need for 28 minutes or so. I think is about 20 seconds of fuel. So maybe it's not too much more than what he actually needs. Maybe it's just putting a lap or 2 of insurance in there, just in case. But if the fuel stop's that long, then you will be able to just about squeeze in 4 tyres. It's pretty much the same amount of time as a 4 tyre change. But to be honest, I don't expect to see very many tyre changes because you also have to warm them up. And it is less than an hour long, this race, so it's not like it's really, really a long race. Here comes Fak, meantime, on Hayden Young, who I'm getting used to not being in a Porsche, to be honest. Because,
I know, well, there's a bunch of those in this league. Bunch of them.
Well, yes.
You got David Van Roy's not in a Mustang,
Yeah.
I mean, he was a Mustang guy for the longest time there, but actually Hayden Young just got by Fak right as I put the camera on him. He's Hayden Young's moving up a little bit here. Of course, I say moving up a little bit. If we look at this, you'll see that he's actually moved up quite a bit. He's up 39 spots, of course, because he didn't qualify, which is quite remarkable if you think about it. In this amount of time, he's moved up from the very back of the field to 13th overall. Yeah,
that is remarkable.
That's very, very impressive given the quality of the drivers in this field.
I don't know if you can. I don't know if not for right now, but maybe for the end of the race a little bit later, whether you can find the safety car restart lap, because he must have had a unbelievable safety car restart. There was no chance for him to make up many places before on the actual start, so must have been on the safety car restart. Anyway, that's one for a bit later.
Yep.
If we can get to it. 39 places gained though is absolutely remarkable, and he's just on the back of Sebastian Fak there for 12th place, and might be able to take another place. Actually, he lost that 12th coming down in towards or at least failed to get through in towards turn 1 last time round. You expect though these two might actually make for good I was going to say teammates, but they wouldn't be teammates. They'd be working together. I think these two are fairly similar speed, and they've got the same objectives as well, and that is to return to the very top end of town. And there's another 2 places for Hayden Young, so it goes to over 40. I'm not sure I've ever seen amount of places gained quite so large as that.
No, I mean, it takes a field this size, and it also takes we got a few guys starting to pit now. Probert and Sierra's in. We're starting to see that come come to fruition here. We'll take a look at these times as a few of them go in, and we'll see what the situation is. Are we getting tires? Are we not? I'll tell you what. Let's just peek in here. Okay, this ice is on its way out already. This little Bailey's in. Car does not look jacked up though, so we'll see. This is just going to be a fuel stop. We'll just stick with him here just for a second. Well, we know he's not taking tires, so we can look at his. That was 21.2 there for just a fuel stop. So, and we do have some new. Well, I think we've used it actually a little bit already, but this kind of gives us an indication. Nobody in the top 15 yet has stopped. So later we'll be able to take a look at this, and it'll help us judge if anybody was taking tires or not. I've got it set for the top 15 because if I set it for the whole field, look at that track map up there, would you? There literally is no space on this track anywhere, except for in the infield. There you see a little bit of a gap here and there, but not much. I'll tell you what, we've got a couple nice battles going on here. This little battle right here. You know what? Let's do this. Let's pull this up and take a look at where we at class-wise, just to give us an idea of where the leaders are right now. As I jump back here to this battle, this is Heath Ollinger and Bradley Tidwell.
Right, yeah. Yeah, 70. So yeah, this is this is why we try and keep the overall up, because obviously it's quite hard to figure out who's fighting who otherwise. I mean, the pros and the pro-ams do mix a lot as well, don't they? I mean,
yes.
Notice that really more today than anywhere else. There's actually a change for the lead overall out of turn 6 there. That must have been a not very good run at all through turn 6 for Ryan Merriam. Forluna have been working on him for a while. They've got rid of Aaron Gearing, who was at one stage looking at the fastest of the three of them. Now he's at 2 seconds or so behind, but Forluna takes the lead coming towards the Le Mans chicane. But this is going to be very telling here. Does Forluna or has Forluna made that overtake now because they're coming in this lap, which I would suggest would be my theory anyway, or was it just a natural overtake and Merriam's going to fight back this time round, or indeed Merriam's not going to fight back this time round. But let's see. Forluna now comes through NASCAR 3 and 4. Is he coming in? No, he's not. He looked like he was sort of gesturing that he might do at one stage, but not this time. So just a natural change for the lead, and it doesn't seem Merriam's too displeased. He can now take turns on saving fuel. Well,
let's go back and take a look at where the pass actually happened here. Coming through, that was like turn 1 there, huh? Oh no, they're coming out of the Western Horseshoe area, coming back onto the back straight. Yeah, he just got a run on him. Must have gotten a little better exit there onto the back stretch.
Yeah, it's been working on that. Just for a couple of corners previous, wider entry into turn 6, gave him a better exit, and as soon as you got your nose alongside there as you're getting onto the banking, you know you've pretty much got the place, because you want to be on the low side there. It's not like super speedway racing here where the outside or the inside could prevail. It's not an exact science. On the road courses it really is. You've got to be on the inside line to just ghost yourself in front there, and indeed, that's what Forluna does. So he's up front, but as I say, Merriam's not too displeased because he can just save that little bit of fuel now, and he'll need to match Forluna's pit stop, really, to keep this race close at the front.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see when they decide to pit and if they decide to come in at the same time. Obviously, that was you see that Aston Martin of Merriam's just taking a big old hop and you can see it bottoming out and scuffling the bottom of the car there. I think we might have had an incident here. Let's see. Looks like it's Schnabel and a sympathy spin there from Pernell Hamlet.
Yeah.
I thought they might have come together because they both showed up in the incident thing at the exact same time. As we see somebody coming off pit road there. Not quite sure who that is.
Just in front of the leaders there. That might have been Julian Race, who's just up in front of these guys. And that means, by the way, Gillian Race is down in 43rd. They're still 42 on the lead lap at the moment. Merriam was putting a bit of pressure on Faluna that time, but couldn't get through. And Stefan Bauer's up to 6th place.
Yeah, he just
was running 11th in this large group earlier, but now up to 6th.
Yeah, I think he just made an overtake on Cook there, right before we put the camera on him. Yeah, quite a good run for him as well. Let's see. Let's go back up here. But I'll tell you what, they fool you because they get so close on the straightaway that you think a pass is happening, but really all they're doing is drafting each other around.
Is that going to remain the case this time into the Mont Chicane? You'd expect so. Merriam's going to be enjoying not using anywhere near as much fuel as he had to previous. And of course he's going to be learning about what that Porsche is like to race behind. If this is going to be a run to the line or a run to the end, then it's going to be interesting and crucial really for Merriam to decide how he's going to get past, or indeed how he's going to defend if it is between these two, I'd say, towards the finish here. Through NASCAR turns 3 and 4, 37 minutes to go. I suspect they might pit soon, as some of the guys just up in front of them, just on the, and they are coming in, both of them at the same time. We might have hit our limit here. 37 minutes in, 19 laps in, and there's a lot of stops happening now.
Yeah, I think this is probably the entire top 5 all pitted together there, which would indicate that's probably pretty close to the maximum. Actually, now we're almost got the entire top 10 in. The only one that didn't come in was Hayden Young. But everybody else, everybody is pitting here. Hayden Young is the only one now in the top 15 that didn't pit. Oh, Keith Ballinger also skipped.
So who's out first? Faluna has got a gap. Faluna's got a gap here over Merriam, and it's significant. It's a second and a 3/4. Look at that. His pit stop was only 15.2 seconds. He'll hope he's got enough fuel on board, because that is a bit quicker than anybody else, but even so, Merriam was a bit slower. Gearing and Sean Riley have caught up to Merriam as well. So there's 3 drivers in that group for second position, but Faluna is in the net race lead, and he's got effectively just over 15 minutes to nurse this advantage to take home a race victory.
Yeah, and currently that advantage is almost 4 seconds over Ryan Merriam, which, sounds like a lot in some instance, but then again, if you look at him on track, it's not horribly far behind, really. I mean, it'll be interesting to see. Now, the thing is, if you don't have, if Merriam gets somebody to run with, like Gearing, they're going to catch him pretty fast, Faluna's out here he's got a little draft off of, I guess that's Ollinger, who has not pitted yet in front of him. Well, he slung by him like he was standing still, didn't he?
Yeah, absolutely. Ollinger hasn't stopped, as I say, and so that is going to change this battle somewhat, but even so, it was important to get through before the bus stop. Riley can't quite stay with Gearing and Merriam, it seems, on these opening laps. He had a good pit stop to get with them, but it looks like he's already lost their draft. As Hayden Young comes in, that's the absolute limit. Of course, limit may be extended to 40 minutes around here because of the safety car we saw earlier on. They wouldn't have been able to go that far without it. Because it took so much time out of the race. But Faluna now leads again. What is the final gap? 3.5 seconds is the gap. These two, for me, have absolutely got to work together if they've got any hope of winning this race. But, again, do they want to target a race win and try and catch Faluna? Or are they happy just to fight amongst themselves for second?
Well, clearly Merriam is going to try to fight for the win. No doubt about that. As we drop back here.
I'll not be up to him.
No, it may not be up to him, that's right. But, at this point, I'm sure Gearing would love to catch Faluna and make that a 3-car battle up front, especially with the gap they have over Riley. The 3 of them could essentially get up there and spend the last 15 minutes having a little fun,
Yep. It's already down to 3 seconds compared to the 4 that it was earlier, so there might be time in this race just about left. There's a big group for 7th as well. Not all battles for position these. There are some lapped cars in here, but Brent Cook is at the front of the group. Sebastian Fack has done a very, very good job of moving through the field and is now back to 8th. Stefan Bauer is now 9th. Hayden Young's come out in 10th. And Javier Sierra's 11th.
You remember earlier we had looked at Bauer, who had made a pass on Brent Cook on the infield, and then now that they've pitted, Cook is back ahead by, well, at this point not a whole lot, about 3/4 of a second or so, but so he's gotten back in front. So it'll be interesting to see if Bauer can get that position back, and and see how that works out for him. He is right behind him now. But and there's not well, there is actually a glaring difference. There was 2 seconds difference in their pit stop time, and that explains how he lost his spot back on track there. So my question is now is, have any of these guys potentially underfueled or fueled themselves to where they have to save as Bauer's going to try to take a run around the outside here into turn 1? Not going to be able to get it done there.
And that could actually open the door for Hayden Young there in the McLaren. He is alongside into the S's, but he switches back to the inside. He's surely too far back for that, and he is. Bauer's forced to miss the apex though anyway. Getting in the mirrors there was Young, and that just headed Bauer wide a little bit. There is David Van Roy getting down the inside and through on Cody Pont. So 13th place for Van Roy now in the Aston Martin.
He took advantage of that traffic. I'm sorry, he took advantage of that traffic right there and did a really good job of making that pass. Yeah,
that was pretty swiftly done, really, which is what you want. And he's now got Williams up in front as well. Jonathan Williams, who's second place in the prime class. What a night this could be for Preston Hathaway. Currently in the championship, not a feature because the first 2 rounds weren't so good and he wasn't there last week at VIR. But a round victory here would put him on the board really for this season, and look at the amount of points he's going to gain over the rest. A top 5 finish as well for a Pro-Am driver has not happened yet this season. It has happened once. James Hillerick finished in 5th place in the opening round of the championship, so we'll see whether Hathaway can repeat that tonight.
Yeah, as I put the graphic up on the top up there that shows your class leaders, just to help out and make it easier to figure out who's leading in each of the classes as we watch some of these on-track battles. Speaking of on-track battles, we got a nice one right here. That's
Horvath.
Yep. How you say it? You say it Horvath?
Yeah, that's quite a... I don't really know how to pronounce it, to be honest, but that's what I go for anyway.
Well, I butcher the English language, so there's that. Didn't you actually tell? In fact, I want to tell everyone that I believe that at one point the other night during a broadcast that you and I were doing together, I believe he said that we and specifically me took their language and absolutely ruined it, I believe is what you said, if I'm not mistaken.
Not specifically you, but the general country of America, I would say, which you are a part of, I suppose. Yes.
I am indeed a part of, yes.
Yes. I was complaining about you ruining our language, but there you go.
That's right. I just wanted to point that out in case anybody missed that.
I know, a dangerous crowd to say that in, I admit, but I've gone for it now. So,
what was my response? Do you remember?
Something about
I said we
war.
I said we won the war. It's our damn language now.
Yeah. Well, yes.
Okay.
That is all true. Ken Clodd in mid-time recovers one of the many positions he lost earlier on.
Yeah. Well, he just had a spin.
Third.
If we go back here,
just now.
He just had a spin back earlier on this lap, I believe, going into turn 1 last lap. He got way over.
Whoa.
Well, he's lucky there because I tell you what, if that wasn't concrete, his car's tore up right there. But he was able to get it stopped because it's all concrete runoff area there. Yeah, so he's that cost him a few spots, obviously.
He's a long way down. He's qualified just in front of Bradley Lovings, actually, inside the top 20, but he's outside the top 30 now, which is not especially ideal. Raul Pastor just in front of Yeli Sons there, who is second now in the AM class, but It's going to be difficult to chase down Michael Champlin, I think, before the end. He's just gone through shot there already. And so Sons has got less than 10 minutes to make that time up and indeed make a position up here, which could be very difficult. And that would include some overtakes on some drivers who are in classes more advanced than his. Outside line in towards turn number 1 for Sons, and he's not going to get all the way around there. He might switch back instead. Pastor goes too deep, and no, he can't switch back instead there, Sons. So he's back to 25th again, or rather retains 25th. As I say, he's going to have a real job on his hands to get back to Michael Champlin.
I tell you, if we look up front here, we've had a little situation kind of develop. Faluna is just staying out there on his own. Still, they're closing on him. It was a 4-second gap right after the pit stops, if I'm not mistaken, and right at it, 3.5 or so, and now they're closing it up. But if these two, which they have not, if they start to battle as we near 9 minutes or so left in this race, I don't think they're gonna catch Faluna at this point. It's kind of interesting to see, because I guess this coming week or this coming Tuesday or so, they'll put the final adjustment on these cars for the 24 hours of Daytona. So some of these cars may get a little quicker and some may get a little slower here over the next couple of weeks, or over the next week. It'll be interesting to see how that shakes out.
Yeah, it will, and see whether any changes remain to have an effect on this series, because I don't think there is another week 13 before the season ends. Obviously, we started before the last week 13, I think.
Yes.
Did we? Or was it just? I can't remember.
I believe we did.
It was very close around there anyway.
Yes.
But there's certainly at least one week 13 change in here, and I always like series that do contain one of those, because it does change, a GT3 series that is, because it does just change the manufacturers slightly, and it means you've got to make not an informed decision about what is fast right now, because that's always obvious.
Yes.
Or relatively so, narrowed down to a few manufacturers, but what are you comfortable with, because it could change if you get a fast car that you're uncomfortable with and then it gets slower, then you haven't got anything for the last part of the season.
Especially this time of the year. Not only between the seasons, like you talk about the iRacing seasons, but also with all of these special events going on, because they literally do a balance of power, or BOP as everybody calls it. They do that before all these special events. So you're going to have one coming up for 24 Hours of Daytona, then you have one for Sebring, and there's so many of these special events where they adjust these cars. So you better be comfortable driving, because like in this league, you can't change cars without losing all of your points.
Yeah, and I think that is the way to do it. So as I say, you've got to pick a car that you're comfortable with, and you think that's going to retain its speed at least to a decent level. Obviously, the manufacturer's not absolutely everything, as you can see in this field at the moment. We've got 4 different manufacturers in the top 5. And 5 in the top 10, 6 in the top 12. So you get the idea. It's pretty well spread across the board. Here comes Pastor on Hanelt there in towards turn 1, and the Sons just cannot get through on these guys at the moment, which is stopping him from getting anywhere near Michael Champlin. It's inside line there for Pastor, who gets ahead of Hanelt out the corner. What about the run for Yellow Sons here? Is he going to dive to the inside, outside? Maybe. No, he can't go either way. And this is getting away from him a little bit, Yellow Sons. He's only got 5 minutes left, and a big gap up to Michael Champlin in 21st.
Yeah, that's. I want to see something here. So on the track map, it shows. So he's 6 seconds behind. No, I'm sorry. He is 2.5 seconds behind Champlin. As I was checking the interval here on the. So take a quick look, folks, while we got a chance here. And I'm going to switch back to the other one for the last 5 minutes. But this just shows you the gap between some of the people in class. I have to say, I'm guilty of ethnic profiling on Raul Pasta. That name obviously sounds Italian to me because of pasta, even though it's probably not an Italian word. and he's driving an Italian car, and he has an Italian-ish flag livery type on the car, but yet he's Canadian. I get wanting to see an Italian flag there. I don't know. I mean, he could be Italian, obviously, and from Canada, but yeah, I just keep wanting to see an Italian flag there, and it's not there.
Yeah, well, I take your point. I hadn't really thought about that too much, but there you go. Oh dear, who's that in the background there making contact on the straight? It's Sons and Hannah, who make contact on the straight there towards the start-finish line. That is odd. Well, Sons goes straight through into 24th. He's been working on that for quite a while, but I say it's probably too little too late as far as the AM class. Is it too little too late for Merriam and Gearing? Because they really raced down to a second and a half behind Brian Faluna, but they've not got any closer. 1.2 seconds now the gap as they have 3.5 minutes remaining. There will be 2 laps to go at the end of this one, and I'm just not sure they've got the time remaining in this race to get there. The gap 1 point, it's a better exit for Faluna, so I think they're going to just come up short here, but the speed at which they got to 1.5 seconds behind, I thought they were going to catch him before the end.
Well, if I'm being honest, I'm shocked that they haven't caught him, because he's had nobody to work with for a lot of this stretch. You know, there's no one in front of him. He's not catching a draft off anyone, as you can see. There's literally no one in front of him anywhere out there. I'm just shocked that they haven't caught him, and now they're starting to battle. So, you know, he's looking back in his mirror going, you two guys fight it out.
And you know, you can see that from Gearing's point of view, because actually we're so late in the race now that even if they do catch, he's not going to have a chance to win.
Right.
Because he's in third. So you can understand why he's starting to fight, but Merriam is not enjoying it, I wouldn't imagine. It's just teetering on the edge of a second or so, which it needs to be at the moment. And for Merriam at the moment, it's going to be very, very frustrating. As I mentioned earlier on, Brian Faluna has not had the best start to this season. Missing a round has put him a long way down the standings, but he could jump up with a drop week or so, and this will be his second podium in a row, by the way, and this one obviously on the top step.
For week one, he was lightning fast week one at Spa, and the top 4 cars all got together in an incident, and every one of them went around, and he was one of those cars. He if I'm not mistaken, was leading, or he certainly was in the top 2, 3. He was fast. I want to say he was leading. And all 4 of the cars ended up getting into an incident. Let me jump back here. This looks like they might have something happening here. Oh, God, did you see him pull the front tire there on that curb? Oh, that's so brutal. I mean, he was right on him until he hit those curbs, and now look, he's a half a second back. Oh,
he's not going to go for it, but the gap's less than a second for the first time. Has Merriam put it up in time? He has. Well, 8.5 tenths. I'm not sure it's enough because they're on the last lap now. But this race is going to come down to less than a second, as you sort of always expect it to at Daytona, to be honest. It always seems to happen here. It's less than a second, but he's just a bit too far away even now, I think.
Yeah, I don't see him catching him at this point. It's going to be a battle for second here. Short of Faluna making a mistake, I think this is Brian's race.
Probert, that's Hen Young's teammate. Probert getting back past Sebastian Fack, who's done a good job to get back to 7th, but
he has.
He can't get to 6th just yet.
No, there's several really close battles here. Champlin and Purser right here. This is...
Champlin has lost loads of time. He's lost the AM lead. He must have had something go on here, whether it's a big battle or something else. Side by side.
So Soames got by him?
So Soames is in front of him, and Champlin can't get clear of Purser, which would allow him to get that lead back again, or at least have a chance to. Well, it's all happening here in the AM class, but the overall leaders are about to come to the end of this race very shortly, and Faluna has not got the best run ever out of the bus stop. It should still be fine. He's got 6 tenths of a second, and that Porsche actually seems to be pretty fast in a straight line these days, especially compared to the Aston Martin and the Mercedes just in behind. Brian Faluna is going to be on the podium for the second week in a row, this time on the top step, as he wins the OGRL Coffee Cup from Daytona by just half a second in the end, in front of Ryan Merriam and Aaron Gearing. Not far behind them, Preston Hathaway is going to win in the Pro-Am class. A brilliant victory a top 5 for only the second time this season in round 4. Preston Hathaway, the winner in Pro-Am. Probert, in fact, both had slowdown penalties coming out the bus stop. They're going to have a photo finish, and Fact recovers to 6th after spinning and dropping outside the top 20 on the safety car restart. And who's going to win in the AM class? It looks like Michael Champlin has dropped away completely, and Yellow Suns is going to eventually take the win.
Yeah, I don't know what in the world happened there. This is a huge battle right here. We just finished. Oh man, that was they were close there. All right, let's go back here. Let's find Sones again, and then we're going to go back as soon as the winner crosses the line here. If we don't have any really super tight battles, I'm going to jump back and see what happened there.
Yeah, so Sons takes victory. That's his first of the season in only his second appearance this season. Didn't race with us before the new year. Some other close finishes. Justin Dusvays can't quite get past William Bailey. A 10th of a second. Jim Sawyer stays in front of Michael Champlin, who eventually finishes 31st tonight. That is a big shame for him because he was leading late on. He was big favourite as well. I thought he'd won it, to be honest.
Here we go.
But there must have been a problem for him that has prevented him from winning this race.
So there was a little bump incident there, and then
there's a spin. I mean, Sons is already in front of him by that stage. So
was he?
Yeah. So that Sons is well in the distance over there. So
he was. Okay.
So this is on the last lap. This is why he's not finished second in AM. This is why he's finished even further down than that.
I just don't see anything that would indicate what happened there. Well, here's where the pass happened. Let's see if
that might give us a clue. Well, he's already clear. Maybe he's just being caught. I'm not entirely sure. Maybe he's just being caught. But look at this. Sons looked like shaping like he was going to go to the outside. He eventually goes to the inside. Champlin forced him on a really tight line. But he's done very well there, Sons. That's a really tight line on the entry there, but he's done a great job to pull that up in time and sort of survive through that bus stop chicane. And then Champlin's got a problem because Sons has just worked through a massive group to get to him, and now Sons is almost using that group against him, and they all start to pour through.
Yeah, I don't see anything that would indicate where he must have, just got tied up by some traffic or had I show nothing of any kind of incident whatsoever that would have caused Sons to catch him. I mean, he wasn't that far behind him, so, he could have just caught him. But anyway, so, all right, let's get some results up here. I think we probably have everybody across the line now.
Yep, we certainly do. And so we'll go through the results from Daytona tonight. 6 tenths of a second, the gap at the line there for Brian Faluna, who wins tonight in front of Ryan Merriam, with Aaron Gearing rounding off the podium. Sean Riley was briefly with those two, by the way, and could have held on to them to chase down, but ends up 4th. Didn't quite have the speed in the end. Preston Hathaway wins in the Pro-Am class, and the rest of the top 10 completed by Sebastian Fack and Tim Probert, who had that photo finish. Stefan Bauer, Brent Cook, and Hayden Young rounds out the top 10. Stephen Smalley finishes in 11th place. Cody Bont and Jonathan Williams round out the podium in Pro-Am, with Darren Hoverton and David Van Roy rounding out the top 15 overall. Brad Tidwell, bit of a gap back to him next, ahead of Brian Dukowski, who just finished ahead of Heath Ollinger by just 11 thousandths of a second there. Photo finish for those guys. Yellow Suns wins in the AM class, just in front of 20th place Alan Purser. These guys all now over a minute off of the race win. Raul Pastor, Perno Hallow, James Hillerick, who won and the only other Pro-Am driver to finish inside, he's now pro of course, but the only other Pro-Am driver to finish inside the top 5 in a race this season. Will Bailey and Dustin Dusvates round out the top 25. Cameron Risley finishes second in AM ahead of JT Sawyer, who finishes third. Michael Champlin doesn't even get an AM podium in the end. Because of that spin we saw out the International Horseshoe. Quentin Price and Ken Clodin rounds out the top 30, with Javier Sierra on the lead lap, as well as Mitchell Williams, John Gardner, Adrian Rich also on the lead lap there in the end. But that is it, I think. Then Julian Race was a lap down in 36. Curtis Matthews, 36th. Had a Danny O'Brien, Clyde Comfort, Hayes Borden and Micah Dickerson rounding off the top 40. Also one lap down, John Snibble then Bradley Lovings, Bobby Lewalski, Brian Hoskins, David Stoops, 2 laps down for Landon Abbott and Nico Tassini. Then the non-finishers, or those who are many laps down, Chris Walford, Robert Sackett, Adam Hansen, Simon Belts, Alexander Claudio, Chris Lane, and the non-starter Randy Coyer, who rounds out the 54 drivers who were at least practiced at some stage here tonight. Let's have a chat then, shall we, to the race winner tonight, Brian Faluna, who has won from Daytona. Brian, congratulations on your first win of the season, just hanging on by 6/10 of a second at Daytona. How nervous were you, though, in those last laps when Merriam and Gearing were closing on you quite considerably early, but then they were just kept at bay until the very last laps? Were you nervous that they were going to catch and pass you right late on there?
I wasn't nervous. I was backing off pretty considerably through the bus stop. The Porsche on the low fuel, just the rear end gets a little light. So I backed off and took it easy. And yeah, I would look at the interval, the gaps, and I would see I would lose like 3-4 tenths, and then I would gain a 2 tenths back in the straight. So I felt okay about it. Wasn't terribly worried. But it worked out. I'll take it.
Yeah, absolutely.
But Ryan and Aaron, it was an absolutely great race. Kept me honest the entire time.
Yeah, I can imagine. I mean, what was battling with them like? Because sometimes at Daytona, I get the feeling drivers get frustrated with the draft, making it sort of difficult to get away almost. Obviously, you had to use the pit stop to do that in the end.
Surprisingly, I saw the Daytona 24 BOP, the Porsche is just an absolute rocket ship, but the normal BOP, it's a little bit more even. I was actually really surprised that I was able to gain on Ryan pretty considerably. Like, we could come out of the bus stop, I could be 5 or 6 tenths behind him, and I could get within a car in his draft. So I knew in straight line speed I could catch up, and braking was where I was making a lot of my money. It was just the bus stop that was killing me, no matter what. If he made a mistake at the bus stop, I knew I had a chance, but he had a moment. Did I drop?
All right. No, you're okay.
No, you're good.
Okay. My TV just decided to stop showcasing anything. So, yeah, I felt pretty good about that. And then, yeah, he had a little moment. I don't know the turn number. It was the not the left-hander. Yeah, it was the left-hander before the back straight. He had a slow exit the previous corner, got a little of his left side on the dirt, and then I was able to take advantage and get ahead of him, I think, right before the bus stop. And then, yeah, like 2 laps later, he said to me, he's like, "It's so fast in a straight." So I was able to pull away. So still mad about pole, because I think I could have taken pole today. So I was a little frustrated with that.
It did feel like that the Porsche had that speed on a straight line that it certainly hasn't had in the last couple of years, maybe. But yeah, interesting for the weeks ahead and interesting for this race as well. But congrats on the win this morning, Brian, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end as well. Hopefully, we'll see you again throughout the coming weeks of the season.
Yes, I will try to race as much as I can. Sadly, though, I will have some military training in February and March, so I'll probably miss most of those races. So I'm going to get in what I can and hopefully give Ryan a run for his money.
Well, we look forward to it. Thanks for chatting to us again, Brian, and hopefully we'll see you after the 2-week break.
Okay.
Thanks very much.
See you later, gentlemen.
That's Brian Faluna, winner tonight from Daytona in the OGRL Coffee Cup. Second place in the end, Ryan Merriam, who is also ready to join us as well. Ryan, welcome in. Good to have you with us. How are you feeling at the end of that race? Because I get the feeling it was a bit frustrating catching Faluna there, but just sort of running out of time to really challenge him later on in that race.
Hey, guys. Yeah, you hit the nail on the head there, Ewan. Frustrating. Happy with second, but needed just a couple more laps, I think. I was like sending all the bad vibes I could for him to keep struggling with that bus stop, because he was just taking off in the straights, man. That Porsche is fast here in the straights. I think they're able to put lower wing on it just because it's so good in the infield still. I don't know, but yeah, I was struggling with just a couple corners, like the entry, I think turn 7 onto the speedway. I was really struggling with that, and it was kind of killing. I would catch him a little bit in the infield, and then I'd lose 2/10 there, and gaining 3/10 back in the bus stop. So I could have driven a little better to get a little closer, but you know, it is what it is.
How have you sort of viewed the start of this season as well? That's your third podium in a row now, but obviously round 1 didn't go quite as well for you in terms of a result. How pleased are you to have started the season off though with those string of results you're now getting together?
Yeah, I'm happy with it. Can't complain. There's some really fast guys in this league, so anytime I make the podium, I'm happy with it. Hopefully Spa can remain my drop week for this little series of races here, and should put me right up there, challenging 1 or 2 at least for going forward. So
yeah, I think it would do. I think you and Michael Dion would maybe be about 3 points apart in your favour if a drop week were to be applied now. But obviously, we've still got a couple of races to go before we can do that. But congratulations again, Ryan, on a third podium in a row now in this series, and thanks for coming to chat to us at the end of the day as well.
Thank you, and you guys take it easy.
Thanks so much. That's Ryan Merriam, second place in the Coffee Cup this morning, and Aaron Gearing finishing in third place just behind as well. Aaron, welcome in. Good to have you with us. A third place finish for you at Daytona. How do you sort of view that result with, it seemed to me you wanted to try and challenge Ryan for second, but you also half wanted to catch Brian and see if you could have a go at the race win as well. Is that reading correct to the last part of the race? How were you sort of going through those final minutes?
Yeah, it was just 1 minute I had 10 minutes left, and then the next second the white flag was out, and I was just trying to push Ryan just to try and catch Brian through that bus stop. And unfortunately, on the last lap, I clipped the curb a little bit too hard and lost all that time. But it is what it is. I'm having fun running with these guys and trying to go quicker and quicker. So.
Absolutely, and a third place finish this time round. You bet your best finish of the season as well. How's this size up as one of the circuits that you'll enjoy though, compared to some of the others we've got going on later in this schedule? It's a very sort of familiar GT3 schedule. Most of the big ones are there, like Le Mans, Bathurst, Nürburgring, etc. How does Daytona size up though as one you expect to go well at?
I think everyone expects to go well at Daytona at this time of year, don't they?
True. It's true.
I was quite surprised that everyone wasn't in the 47s, to be honest, because everyone at this time of year puts in so much practice for next week. Yeah, it's that time of year, right? Daytona time.
Yeah, no, it's absolutely correct. So I guess you're correct that everybody will be coming into this pretty well on form, but still a week to go, of course. So don't get tired of Daytona too quickly. I know it's easy because...
no, don't get tired of Daytona, not this month.
Well, I guess so. I get quite tired of driving it before the race, I must admit. But anyway, that's a different issue. Congrats on a third place finish today, Aaron, and thanks for coming to chat to us after the race as well.
Thanks, man.
Thanks very much. That's Aaron Gearing finishes in third place.
His dog's happy for him.
This race, his dog is happy, celebrating in the background. Damien Hoverton finished in 15th place here today and can now join us too. Damien, welcome in. Good to have you with us. 15th place finish for you here tonight, just beating David Van Rooij to the line in the end and down a couple on where you qualified. Fairly eventful race for yourself. Just tell us about some of the trials and tribulations you had throughout that one.
I mean, the trials and tribulations were that I didn't practice at all. All my time last few weeks goes into the 24. So I just hopped in, did like 30 laps and prayed for the best. And then I cooked the rears, spun it in the bus stop and wrecked. Luckily, it was just like 5 laps before I had to pit anyway, so I was good on the fuel. Took tires also, because why not? And after that, I was just trying to catch up and like get as best of a possible finish. In the end, barely got David, like just got under him. And that's it. Like an eventful race, last to 15th. I love doing those this season. I wreck like lap 1 and then have to climb back up. But I'm getting my money's worth, for those
Yeah.
$20.
Yeah, certainly. In terms of the overtakes and the excitement that you're getting throughout these as well. How does this sort of differ to the practice that you would do for a Daytona 24? I must admit, I've never practiced for a Daytona 24 on iRacing before, but it seems to me like it's surprising what you said there, that you effectively had no practice for this. How different is it really to I know that the mindset is different for an endurance race compared to an hour-long race, but how is it different actually driving when you're practicing for an event like this compared to the long race next week?
I mean, the first difference is that I run GTPs for the 24s.
Okay. That makes a lot of sense suddenly, yes.
Yes, so I run the 963 for the 24. I'm running with DVR, with Bradley, with Miriam, with Jeremy, and one of their friends, Thomas. He's not in a league. And basically, last few weeks, it was just trying to reach the 28 lap stint, because the 28 laps is the number to aim for. And this was just kind of hop in, feel it around. It's a completely different car, feels completely different. It's a lot slower. This whole 55 minutes, it was just slow motion for me, jumping out of the GTP. So that's it. And also, here's no fuel strategy. I was just gunning it. So that's it. That's the only difference.
Well, yeah, certainly that makes a lot of sense if you're not driving this car in the race at all. But I'm sure there'll be some drivers in this field who are doing the GT3 class. But anyway, good luck for the race next week, of course. Thanks for coming to chat to us after the race, Damian, and congrats on a top 15 finish in the end tonight.
Thank you. See you soon.
Thanks so much. That's Damian Hovizin, who finishes 15th in the race here today. Haven't been able to get any of the other class winners in, unfortunately.
No.
Christian Hapway and also Yellow Suns, who's the winner for the AM class, haven't popped themselves in. So we'll wait for a moment. But Jim, a good race at Daytona, as you'd expect to see. I was hoping for that sort of run to the end with Faluna and Merriam really battling with one another, but it seemed that Brian, actually, speaking to him there, had that under control, because he was just managing himself through the bus stop, it seemed to me, and in the end he was just sort of timing that, and maybe that period we were talking about earlier where the gap came from 4 seconds to 1.5 in very few minutes indeed. Maybe that was down to sort of Brian's managing of the race, and maybe that wouldn't have happened if he'd have been under more pressure and been forced to drive a bit quicker. So maybe that was a less close race than it looked.
Yeah, that's probably accurate. Again, it really comes down a lot to the adjustments that they make to these cars going into Daytona and stuff this time of the year. I think that when you watch the 24-hour coming up here next week, and I think you're going to see a lot of people in the Porsche. I think it's probably the car this season for the 24. So I think that plays a big factor in it. Like Brian said, or like Ryan said, that if the car didn't have quite the straightaway speed that it has under this current BOP, I think it would have probably been a different race, which is funny again to me because I'm so used to Ryan being in a Porsche. That was his car for several seasons, and he won the championship last year, if I'm not mistaken, in a Porsche. And then he switched over to the Aston. But I think overall, I really do think that gearing potentially was holding up Merriam a little bit, in a sense that, Ryan was having to watch out for gearing. Had he just been, on his own run, I think that might have changed it as well.
Yeah, well, there's a number of what-ifs that come out of every race, and there'll be no less out of this one.
Plenty out of this
in
one
that
with 54 drivers. There's plenty of what-ifs out there.
An absolutely huge field, absolutely. Obviously, Daytona in January always draws a big crowd in GT3s, but nevertheless, that is in line with what you get here in the OGRL Coffee Cup. As we've been mentioning, we won't be back next week or the week after, because Watkins Glen is the next round on February 1st. That's quite a long time away. From there, though, we'll be racing 7 weeks in a row on a Sunday morning, so I hope you can join us all for that. It's a great league to join on a Sunday morning, or indeed Sunday afternoon if you're in Europe. It's quite a nice time for us as well on a Sunday, so make sure you join us for all of those, as I say, starting with Watkins Glen on the 1st of February. Before we get to our first of our long endurance races, by the way, that's a 90-minute race from Le Mans the week after, so lots to look forward to. As I say, 7 weeks in a row starting from February 1st. Make sure you join us here on the MotorMouth Broadcasting YouTube channel for all of that. Big thanks to everyone who's been tuned in tonight as well. Of course, I've been alongside Jim Cunningham, and from all of us here at Daytona, it's goodbye for now.